Girlfriend Pegs and Crowns, and I am back today with a process video. This week I will be working on the newest release for the Take4 mini-series. This is the 7th issue. This is the devotional for the month of December. It is the new Advent theme devotional, New Beginnings. So I will be working through week 1 of the devotional from Open Journey, and I am a little bit behind. I think we are on week 2, maybe week 3 at the time of the recording. However, I want to apologize. I've been a little MIA. We all ended up really sick, and so for Thanksgiving week, or the holidays for Thanksgiving, and so we are just now getting better. I am personally, I think, on the downhill, while my children and husband have gotten better. I think that now it's my turn. So if I sound a little bit off or I'm slurring, I'm on all the meds just to stay awake, you know, mom duties and stuff. So I apologize in advance for that. So, but this is the layout, I guess, for the week 1. And I used some beautiful imagery from the Beautiful series back from last year, just because of the Matthew 6:9 verse where it says, "Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven." And I really wanted that to stick out. I wanted his kingdom and in heaven to be represented in this journaling process. So I did use this image from the digital kit from the Beautiful Beauty and Purpose edition. And then I did use some of the add-ons from the Beautiful series as well, and the new washi tape. Now I probably should have overlaid this over this one to kind of give it a more seamless flow, but look how pretty and beautiful it just kind of just moves across the page. I love it. I really love this washi tape. And so if you want to see how this all came together, just let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this video on fast forward from here on out. Again, I want to apologize if my voice sounds kind of raspy. I want to reiterate that I have been feeling sick. So I did go ahead and have some of the digital imagery from the digital file from the Beautiful series, the Beauty and Purpose, or Purpose and Beauty. I apologize for that. And I wasn't sure which one I really wanted to use, so I sent 3 of those off to Office Depot to be printed out. I end up deciding on this one. I remember when Ingrid showed us, you know, some sneak peeks for this file or this devotional. I was just obsessed with the beautiful image of the New Jerusalem, and so I couldn't get past this one. Obviously, I even sent off another page where it was like in a Polaroid picture with the gessoed background, and I decided for the blue one because I really wanted kind of like that rolling hills on the bottom, but I just didn't know how I wanted to incorporate that. So I also liked it because it had kind of like that easy tear off in the middle of the page where, you know, I didn't have to worry about blending it in into the second page. All I really had to do was kind of give it a rough tear, so it kind of blended in and kind of left the second page, empty, and it made it so much easier with this actual printout. Here you'll see me actually measure out that page to cut off the top portion because I didn't want to block out the week 1 meditation verse. And so I'm just going to cut off the top, and I'm making sure to leave the little rolling hills or the mountain area towards the bottom. I ended up getting some of my golden, matte finish collage medium. It just makes it so much easier than actually squeezing or using a glue stick when you're wanting to adhere such a large image onto your journaling page, or at least that is for me. So using the collage medium as glue to adhere the page is one of the best things or one of my go-to, not the best, one of my go-to glues to adhere stuff like this. So I am going to position this towards the bottom corner or the bottom left corner, and then I will slowly kind of roll it up and then make sure that I adhere any of the pieces of the page that kind of lift up at the edges. I am also going to apply some of the collage medium on the top to make sure it doesn't lift up, so it kind of just, you know, seals in the page on, or the image of the or the page with the image of the kingdom onto my journaling page. Whoa, I'm struggling with my words today. Just brain fog and not feeling good. My brain's a little bit scattered, so I apologize again. Before journaling this page, I knew that I wanted to use some particular die cuts from the add-on options. I wanted to use this bread to kind of highlight the "Give us this day our daily bread" part of the scripture. But around the actual images, there was still some kind of like, you know, um, just some imagery around the edges, but it was really, really light. And I didn't want that to kind of get lost in the blank page, because I knew I wasn't really gonna um, add a lot of texture, a lot of inks, or a lot of paint to my background. So I just kind of cut around the die cut to get as close to the bread and the cloth that wrapped it. Here I am actually using the new washi tape that was released for the Advent, or during the for this Advent season, and it's the mountainous washi tape that was released. Hindsight, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I probably should have kind of overlaid it with the darker mountains to give a more seamless flow. But you know, you always live and learn. Here I actually forgot that I had not pressed record. So I accidentally did not press start to record that part of the video, but what's missing here is that I splattered ink onto the page, and then I began to stamp some of the leaves from the new stamp set. And I apologize for that. That just was not included. I remembered almost immediately, but I apologize for that missing piece of the video. So I am glaze embossing the leaves because I wanted to incorporate some of those lighter blues into this side of the page, kind of like the ones that are around the New Jerusalem. And I am also just making sure that the splatters are dried onto the page, so I make sure that I don't accidentally smear them. I really wanted to use the hole punch reinforcers for this, so that's why you kind of see it in the video. And before I start any journaling page, I do have a pre-selected or determined what kind of elements I want to use. I don't always end up using it. Sometimes I end up adding, but it's always a good idea, in my opinion, to kind of take out elements that you feel you want to use. This is actually a setup that I should have gone for. I really, really like this one, but I ended up kind of changing it towards the end, because like kind of, you know, that's just the thing when you go with the flow. It doesn't always lay back down how you originally intended. So this is the layout that I had originally wanted. I really liked it, but then when I start stamping, I kind of just forgot. And then I wanted to add some more stamping to the top to bring some of those blues and draw your eyes, you know, kind of balance out the page. And so my little cluster at the bottom didn't quite stay the same. Whenever I do the embossing, I always make sure to use the static free powder. I did end up, mine kind of broke, the little brush tip in which it came, it kind of broke, so I ended up having to buy a retractable makeup brush, which works, you know, beautifully. So that's a little hack that I did. And I did end up using 2 different embossing glaze powders because like I said, I wanted to balance out the colors throughout the page, since I wasn't going to be putting a lot of work into the background. So I just felt like if I incorporated some of the colors that were on the other page on this one with the leaves, I felt like it would balance out the page, especially because I was just going to write in gold, you know, most of the scripture. So I didn't want I didn't want heavy texture or decorations or inking or stamping on this side of the page. And so I did use a heavy blue, or the, what color is that actually? It is the Uncharted Mariner. And I also used Salvage Patina. No, this is not Salvage Patina. I am sorry about that. it is the broken china. I just felt like those colors coordinated so much better. Okay, and now it's time that I go back to playing with the cluster on the bottom right hand corner. And this is where it just veered off into a different direction. I put the tile stickers in the middle of the page. Um, and I don't know what prompted me to do that because I had already in my mind decided I wanted it on the bottom with the cluster. Um, I wanted to include the tiles stickers because there are some of those included in the New Jerusalem image page. So I kind of wanted to balance out the page. But all in all, I actually don't mind that I just misplaced them. I'm not really sure what prompted me to do that. Again, I had every intention of including it with the cluster. So I committed to it and I just placed them down. And then I, I, I think somewhere around here I start to realize that I accidentally didn't put them with the cluster. So you'll see me take out this little container of extra tidbits when I put my devotional kits away that kind of just end up, extra bits. And so this is the little box right here. And I thought to myself, well, maybe I can add more tile stickers. But I'm glad that I didn't because I just knew it looked overwhelming, or it would look overwhelming if I added more. I did find this little flower cluster from the Beautiful series, which I end up cutting out and try to incorporate, and I did end up incorporating it. I did, perform what we crafters call surgery. So I kind of removed some of the elements on this cluster, of the little black and white cluster, to kind of make it work in, on the bottom right hand corner. So because I removed the tiles, you'll see me kind of fuss around with the placement of the clusters on the bottom right hand corner. I had originally thought that I would probably place that black and white flower cluster on the top of use that as one of the elements on the top. However, I end up using it on the bottom. And my intention was to have the bread kind of cover up this, where I kind of ripped out some of the flowers from that cluster. You see towards the end that did not happen. I'm not really sure why I didn't, end up covering it, but it happened. I did end up using the little flower that I ripped out towards the bottom left hand side of the cluster. So I didn't throw it away. I did end up using it. I just that's the piece right there. So I always tend to do that. When I rip out little elements of a cluster like that, or I perform surgery on elements like this, I tend to use those and place them somewhere around the cluster. I don't just throw them away. You can always reuse them. So this is, I actually trimmed a little bit more of the bread die cut because I didn't want it to completely cover the white cluster. I end up not covering the pieces that I intended to cover, but I knew that I wanted the little white cluster, the white flower cluster on the bottom, and I wanted the blue leaves that were kind of included with the add-ons as well, to kind of, like I said, balance some of the blues, bring some of those blues onto that white page. I had originally intended to not make extra stamping or inking on the pages. However, it seemed so plain to me that I decided to use the script element from the Fishers of Men stamp set, which was released earlier back in October, I believe. And I just kind of I used, I believe was I forget the name of that one, but the medium color of the gray, hickory smoke, I believe it was. To kind of stamp around, and then I kind of did like a rocking motion back and forth because I didn't want the whole scripture itself. I just wanted bits and pieces of it. So what I do is I kind of bend it, and then I rock the stamp set back and forth, kind of like like a U. So I get a more organic stamp onto the page, and then I wanted to add a little bit more texture because I just felt like it was kind of flat. So I had originally thought to maybe use some red thread. It didn't look that great. It just seemed off. It just didn't blend in very well. So I ended up grabbing some black thread, or it could have been navy, dark navy blue. But it looked black to me, so that's what I grabbed, and it just seemed to have flowed better. When I use thread in my journaling, I usually don't glue it down because I do kind of want the movement of it to feel, you know, realistic and to not be stuck down onto the page. So what I kind of do is I kind of arrange it how I feel like it's gonna lay out better, and then it's usually tucked in under like a die cut or some cluster, and that's, you know, that's what I did here. I adhered, or I kept it in place by adding some glue to the back of the bread with the cloth die cut element, and I felt like that should have been enough to kind of adhere most of the thread onto the page. Unfortunately, this technique doesn't always have the best layout of the thread, so sometimes I do go in with tweezers to kind of shove in under the cluster and to kind of pull out or kind of, you know, rearrange how it falls on the journaling page. And that's kind of what I did right here. I grabbed the tweezers to kind of move it around, give it a more, you know, like natural feel, as if it was just, you know, put on naturally. Like that's how it naturally fell. I am getting ready to journal the script or the verse onto my journaling page, but before I did that, I remembered that sometimes the flow, or I'm sorry, not the flow, the ink gets hard and it's not, you know, it just needs to be shaken a little bit. So I just made sure that it was very fluid on a scrap piece of paper before I journaled, and found out on my journaling page that it was not good. Um, when I was journaling the verse, I realized that the thread wasn't gonna fall exactly. You know, it was gonna be in the way of the journaling of the scripture. I kind of tucked in a little bit more, so that way I can make sure that the whole scripture fit into my journaling page. So I did end up kind of moving off to the left hand side of the entry, just to kind of make it all flow better, just kind of give it a more seamless balance flow to it, but also because of the cluster in the thread. And this is the final look of my journaling page. I am really excited with how it turned out. I really love the image of the New Jerusalem. I really appreciate you for visiting, for stopping by today, and I hope that you enjoyed this process video. I love you and hope to see you next time. Bye bye.